In 1587, over 100 men, women and children stepped onto an island off the coast of what is now North Carolina. 3 years later, they were all gone. No bodies, no graves, no battle signs, no clues except for one word carved into wood: CROATOAN. This is the story of the Roanoke Colony, America's first great unsolved mystery. In the late 1500s, England wanted a foothold in the New World. Spain already dominated much of the Americas, and Queen Elizabeth I was eager to challenge that power. The mission was funded by the ambitious explorer Sir Walter Raleigh. The location: a thin strip of land surrounded by marsh, dense forest and unpredictable waters. But this wasn't the first attempt. In 1585, a small military expedition led by Ralph Lane tried to settle there. Within a year they abandoned it due to food shortages and rising tensions with local Algonquian tribes. Still, England tried again. In 1587, a small group arrived. This time there were no soldiers, only regular settler families that included many children. The expedition was led by Governor John White. There were around 115 settlers, and among them was White's daughter, Eleanor Dare, who soon gave birth to a baby girl. The child's name was Virginia Dare, and she became the first English-born child in North America. At first it seemed hopeful, but supplies were quickly running out, and tensions with the local tribes started to sour, especially after the disagreements they had with the previous settler attempt. The colony needed help, but calling for reinforcements and extra supplies could take months to arrive. So John White made a fateful decision. He would sail back to England and fetch them himself. White left the Roanoke Island colony in late 1587. He expected to return within a few months. Instead, war broke out between England and Spain, the Anglo-Spanish War. The Spanish Armada threatened England itself, so all available ships were commandeered to defend the country. Due to the threat from the Spanish and the lack of ships, White was stranded in England for nearly 3 years. Finally, in 1590, a ship became available, and White secured passage back to Roanoke. What he found would become legend. When White arrived on August 18, 1590, his granddaughter Virginia Dare's 3rd birthday, he found the settlement empty. The houses had been dismantled carefully, no signs of struggle, no burned buildings, no scattered bones, no graves, just silence. Carved into a wooden post in the middle of where the settlement stood was the word CROATOAN. Also, a nearby tree had the letters CRO carved into it. White had previously agreed with settlers that if they relocated, they would carve a message, and if they were in danger, they would carve a cross. There was no cross, suggesting they left voluntarily. But where? CROATOAN was the name of a nearby island, now known as Hatteras Island. There was also a Native American tribe allied with the English using the same name. White believed the settlers had either moved to the island or joined the friendly Native American tribe with the same name. But before he could investigate, a storm damaged his ship. He was forced to return to England, knowing he would never see his family again. No confirmed trace of the settlers was ever found during White's time on the island. So what happened to them? When so many people go missing without a trace, there's always the usual claims of aliens and strange beings, but modern science gives us a few possible explanations. Tree ring data shows that between 1587 and 1589, the region experienced one of the worst droughts in 800 years. This meant crops would have failed and freshwater sources would have dried up. Food would have been scarce except for fishing, which wouldn't provide enough food to feed over 100 people. Survival would have been nearly impossible. Some historians believe the colonists dispersed in small groups, seeking food and protection among native tribes. For centuries, no one has come up with a definitive explanation as how so many could go missing without a trace. More than 400 years later, we still don't know, and perhaps we never will.